Cheer. You guys are now listening to the Mister Sanchez Show. I'm your host, Mister Sanchez. I got my co-host and my producer in the back, Young Glizzy.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Young Glizzy. How you guys doing? Everything is good. I've been good. Today's show, we're going to have a good show. We're going to run down our topics here. Our topics we're going to run down. We got the Dems fail to impeach President Trump today. The Trump and Iran and Israel whole debacle where Israel breaks a ceasefire 48 hours after we make it. We got sleeper cells out here, you know what I'm saying? So we got to be vigilant, got to be careful. We got Jon Jones retires. That's big sports news right there. We got Khalil Rountree versus Jamal Hill. We're going to cover that fight. Fat Joe getting sued for $20 million by ex-employee. We're gonna dive into that. We got Ashton Hall gets run down and ran out of London. And we got Charleston White versus the Island Boys. So, yeah, man, it's going to be a good show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to all the new listeners and supporters. We appreciate you guys. And let's get started. My week was pretty good. Staying on my training, my mind, my body, my soul, focusing more this week on my mind. I got into Hermetic lessons and teachings and some Taoism, you know what I mean? Hermetic teachings it's an old philosophy by like Hermes, you know what I mean? And it basically tells you that, you're the architect of your life and your reality. So, the more that you can make your mind stronger and you can focus on things that you want through meditation, through reading, you can change the reality around you. So, that's what I've been reading. Christ is king. Christ is always king. I always keep my faith in God first. But we got to do our part also while we're out here on the earth navigating through these people. And I'm always striving to overcome negative energy, whether that be the energy that is in my environment or the negative energy that's in my heart. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to overcome those things always. Always working on myself, always trying to be a better man. You know what I mean? Better uncle, better friend, better employee, better son. So, yeah, man. And then we got Taoism. I really like Taoism. I like that philosophy a lot because, you guys have all heard Bruce Lee talk about be like water. Water could flow, water could crash. And when we get into problems in our life or we get into confrontations, you got to be like water, right? Anything that is stagnant dies. Anything that is stiff gets run over. So, I've been listening to that while I'm at the gym, while I'm doing my cardio, and I feel better. And I even started meditating. It's not my first go at it. I used to do it like 5-6 years ago. I got into it, and I started doing it this week, heavy, and it's good, man. You feel great afterwards. It's crazy where your mind goes if you let it go, and how you can get in tune with yourself. So yeah, man, that's what I've been doing. Let me know how your guys' week's been. What's up with you, Young Glizzy? How you been?
I've been good. I'm chilling.
Chilling?
Living.
Did you get in the gym?
I've been going to the gym, yeah.
That's good, man. That's good. Let's get into the topics. Let's start with the Dems fail the impeachment. All right, so AOC came out with a great idea to impeach Trump over the Iran bombing of their nuclear sites, and they put it in the I guess in the House to see if they could get a new impeachment because that's what they like to do, and they were shot down by Dems and by Republicans, so it was bipartisan. So Dems fail again. AOC is an idiot, but that's not no news.
Stupid.
You know what I mean? What else? Okay, big thing, right? The Trump-Israel debacle, dude. Put that on. All right, wait, before you hit play. So, as everybody knows, unless you've been living under a rock, Israel bombed Iran against the United States and what we wanted to do. We were trying to use diplomacy. We were trying to, talk it out, see if there's something we could do. Iran said that was the red line. They're going to enrich uranium and plutonium. They weren't going to budge on it. So Trump sent them big B-52 bombers with a crazy bomb, and it's a bunker-busting bomb. So I guess the bunker-busting bomb worked. Basically what it is, it's a huge bomb that only a B-52 stealth bomber, because it's so heavy, could take. It drops into the ground. It drills itself into the ground, and then, boom, it explodes. And hopefully we took out Iran's, whatever nefarious things they were working on. I hoped it worked. And then Trump called for peace after that. And a day later, Trump announced a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. And Israel went ahead and broke it right away. I think in less than 48 hours, they broke the ceasefire. So these people don't want peace, you know what I mean? These people they want war, they want bloodshed. And, I think Trump needs to stay out of it as much as he can, But he made a statement today. Go ahead, hit that up.
He says that Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. When I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
I love Trump for that. So Trump's not happy. You know what I'm saying? He says that you got two countries that don't know what the fuck they're doing. And, man, it's true. It's true. I wish we could just let those people fight over that desert land that they want so bad and let the best people win, bro. Because at this point, I don't want World War III. Iran attacked a military base in Qatar, and none of it hit, right? They shot 13 or 14 missiles, and none of them hit. So what do I get from that? I get that
I think they warned us, though.
Yeah, they did warn us.
Yeah,
so
they gave us like 12
They just wanted to
hours.
show, like, look, we retaliated, let's dead it, right? Yeah. That's the message I got from that. And Israel went ahead and they did what they wanted to do. So it's a big mess, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily blame Trump 100%. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place where he has to support Israel, but they're not listening to him. So what is there to do, bro? I say we cut off all funding to them and let them fight their own war. I don't want our boys out there dying for that. But yeah, moving on. Sleeper cells might be activated in America. So as you guys know, 20 million people crossed the border illegally. A lot of them were military-aged men. A lot of them were from Islamic countries, from China, from, other places surrounding Russia. So we have to be on alert. If you live in a free state, make sure that you are vigilant when you go out to big places, big gatherings, festivals, malls, movie theaters, things like that. Being armed is not an option right now. Unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. So don't leave home without it. I definitely won't. I'll have my head on a swivel until everything cools off. Yeah. All right. Move on to the next one. Moving on to some sports. Jon Jones retires. It looks like Aspinall put him into retirement without even having to fight him. Shout out to Jon Jones. Shout out to Jon Jones. I appreciate his career. I appreciate what he's done for the sport. I think he had a great career, and I'm happy for him. What else is going on? Oh, we got Khalil Rountree versus Jamal Hill. Pull that up. Hit the play button. All right, man. Jamal Hill was 6'4", Rountree 6'1". We can't play the whole video because UFC doesn't like that, and they'll clap you, so we got to go with these still images. But it was a very technical fight. You know, Khalil Rountree was coming off that brutal knockout from Alex Pereira where he got pretty beat up pretty bad. And, Jamal Hill, man, this guy can't win a fight, bro. You know, every time I see him fight, he loses, and he's never, like, a good sport about it. You know, he always has an excuse on why he lost. He can't shake hands at the end. You know, but shout out to Khalil Rountree for coming up with the win. If you guys bet on it and won, let me know. All right, moving on. We got Fat Joe getting sued for $20 million by ex-employee. Allegedly claims he watched Joe sleep with a minor. Say he needs $20 million. This is some BS, bro. This is what happens when you're famous and you start a podcast, bro. When you start a podcast, you know, he started a podcast with Jadakiss, and he's having a lot of success. And here comes these people from the past who they got a beef because they don't like the way that you paid them or the way you treated them or whatnot. You know, I don't believe these allegations for 1 minute. You know, Fat Joe is basically a staple in Miami. You know, if you've been outside, you've seen him go around. I've been in a couple nightclubs where he was at. He was always very humble, always very nice. And I don't know, man. You know, Fat Joe opened doors for this guy, bro. This guy was his hype man, right, Glizzy?
Yeah.
Was his hype man. Took him around the country, took him to places he would never be without Fat Joe, you know? It's like you open doors for people, and they want you to walk through them also.
It's hard to be famous then.
Yeah. Especially in this country, bro. They'll sue you 20 years later and put some nasty smut on your name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But he's suing him back for defamation, I believe.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad he does. I hope he takes him to the cleaners in legal fees and drama, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, you can't nobody's safe out here from allegations and lawsuits. Unfortunately, that's the way our system works. They need to do something, you know, like this allegedly happened 20 years ago.
I think they need to do something like if you falsely accuse someone of something, you should have to pay like a fine or do like a month in jail or something. Something light, but you should get like a misdemeanor for that.
Yeah, something. But, you know, and this guy's wrong all the way. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, let's say if what you're saying is true, right? That means that you knew that this was happening for 20 years. You never said anything about it. Why didn't you say something when it was happening right there? Because I'm not going to stay quiet about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're talking about kids here. So, you know, it's just a money grab. You know, he probably threatened him with a lawyer like, yo, give me $20 million or you're going to end up like Diddy. I'm pretty sure Joey wasn't going for that. Told him to F off. But, you know, shout out to Fat Joe and his podcast with Jadakiss. I enjoy it. It's really good. They actually had a viral moment this week where they had Jon Jones come on, right? There was a young kid who was on another podcast. He went viral because he was basically saying Jon Jones is better than Nas. Now, he's a young man, right? And the other two podcast hosts were about my age. So, of course, that was like blasphemous to say. But obviously, these men have never been around young people before because that's what young people do because they grew up in a different era than us. You know what I mean? Glizzy, who are your top 3 favorite rappers of all time? Be honest.
NBA Youngboy. Bro, I listen to a lot of. All right, NBA Youngboy. Nah, NBA Youngboy's up there, dude. Like my
Just
first
give me
one's
3, dude.
NBA Youngboy, XXX Tentacion. Then I got. Damn, that's hard. It's hard to come up with it quickly. But first name I said was NBA Youngboy, so you proved your point.
Just so you guys understand, right? Because we grew up in a different era, right? So he said NBA Youngboy, Extension, and who was the last person you said?
I would say probably Fetty Wap.
Fetty Wap. You know what I'm saying? This man totally went over Biggie, Tupac, Nas, Jay-Z.
Well, you know,
shut up. DMX, Big Pun. You know, just crazy multi-platinum artist that he has no idea because when he was a teenager XXX was dope and influenced him. Fetty Wap was dope and influenced him. And you know, I could never say that any of those guys that he said were anywhere in the top 5.
Well, hold on, dude. I think it's more like I respect them, but like my top 5 wouldn't be them. You get me? Like, no, I don't listen to their music. Dude, I understand 100%.
Like you're not wrong.
Yeah.
This is a personal question of your opinion.
Yeah.
Right? So this clip that went viral, the kid was saying, you know, basically Jim Jones is better than Nas because when he was like 21 years old, but he says, you know, they used to listen to Jim Jones music in New York City every summer, that he liked his albums better than Nas's recent albums, that in his neighborhood nobody was listening to Nas' recent albums and Jim Jones was more relevant. So they asked Jim Jones about it, and, you know, Jim Jones basically was like, yeah, you know, people always try to degrade my impact on music, and, you know, I'm just as good as Nas. If we go, like, you know, song for song, I'm on the Billboard charts also, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And, of course, Jim Jones got roasted over that because, you know, his catalog doesn't match up to Nas's catalog. You know, Nas came out with Illmatic. Illmatic is an iconic album in any genre. It's a masterpiece, you know. Jim Jones has not come up with that, but he's had influence on music, culture, and a lot of young kids. Yeah, man, you want to play it? Yeah. This is the first clip that went viral. Put it on. I can't hear it. But
yeah, that was me. I got it now.
On one mic. Pop champagne.
You saying Jim Jones has more hits than Nas?
I'm from New Jersey. We grew up on ballin'.
That's one.
We did not grow up on one mic. Pop champagne. Summer in Miami. That's a classic.
If I Rule the World. How is that comparable to those songs you just said?
I'm 22. Every Nas song that my man's MJ played, we said we heard that from what, Dub?
2K.
2K. Those songs are in the video game. Okay. I have never in my life said at a party, yo, throwing that Nas right now. If you did top 3 influential people regarding dressing, swag, Jim Jones is top 3.
But Nas influenced Jim Jones.
Cap, Chrome Hearts, and the BB Simons belts and all that. Jim Jones is like.
Stop it there.
Yeah, but Jim Jones did say that Nas influenced him. But yeah, man, that's what it is. I totally understand the young dude, and I understand Jim Jones, because rappers got to always say that they're the best rapper alive, and nobody's better than them. It's part of the aura of being a rapper. So that's our hip hop news for the week. What else has going on? We got Ashton Hall gets run down on in England with the knives, and he takes off running. If you guys don't know who Ashton Hall is, he's a fitness influencer. He's the guy who puts his face in the Saratoga water and puts banana peels on his face. He's been racing on Instagram, running. I think he went versus Speed.
Speed smoked him.
And, you know, he's been going viral. And he went, I guess, to England, and they ran down on him with the knives. Play the vid. I'm in another country.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Who went down the wrong way?
Oh, yes, Yashimoto.
Yes, sir. Bike, huh?
God bless you. Can I use the bike?
You're lying.
I'm not lying. I got you. God bless you. God bless you too. Thank you, bro.
No way.
You'll see it on the internet.
No way. I'm dreaming right now.
And, you know, that sucks, bro. That sucks, because why did he deserve that?
Yeah,
You know?
he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And he's not like someone that walks around and acts all hard and tough. You know what
Exactly.
I'm
He's
saying?
actually kind of sweet.
Yeah.
He might play for the other team. If you ever see him talk, he actually speaks kind of feminine. So, and I've never seen him outside with a girl. Every time I see him, he's with some dudes. But, you know, he doesn't deserve that. You know, and it's a lesson for him. You know, you got to have your own security. You know, you're famous enough now that you can't be out here by yourself. You know what I mean?
That's facts.
But I'm glad that he was safe. You know, he did the right thing by getting the hell out of there. Sometimes you can't stand. Sometimes you got to run, especially if the odds are against you. And allegedly there was a knife, so he did the right thing. You know, especially if he's unarmed. And finishing up, we got Charleston White versus the Island Boys. Now, hold on. Before you play the vid, this was great. I loved watching this. You know what I mean? I hate the Island Boys, bro. I mean, hate's a strong word. I don't hate them, but they suck. I think they're a bad representation of Miami. I wish they would never say they were from Miami. They suck. They go viral by kissing each other and their brothers, which is disgusting. And I'm glad Charleston White actually got in the ring and got into a fight because, you know, he pops a lot of stuff on the internet, bro. I'm a big fan of Charleston White. He makes me laugh a lot.
Same.
You know, he gives you the truth with the poison, right? You know, he gives you the medicine with the poison. So he says some vile things sometimes, but everybody who's listened to him talk knows that there's a lot of truth in what he says. You know what I mean? So it was good to see him fight. You know, he's 51 years old. He's missing an eye, and he fought a young island boy and completely won. Like, bro, those island boys, they can't take a win for nothing, bro. They just constant L's on the internet. They suck, but
that's what happens when you act hard, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Like, that's what happens when you act hard.
And you know their backstory? Like, they're rich from their family.
Oh, I did not know
Their parents got bread, right? That's why when they first blew up, if you look at their videos, they're always in this beautiful place. They're always in a beautiful pool. Like, it looks like it's on Star Island or something, because they come from big money. They just wanted to be famous and viral. You know what I mean? So they tatted up their faces. They did stupid things online, and, you know, here we are talking about them. But go ahead, play the tape.
Dog, you playing? Oh, that was UFC. That motherfucker. Look at him. I'ma chill.
Oh. Bro, there's a clip of him like
throwing him on the floor.
Throwing him. Let me see. I'll grab it real quick.
There's better exchanges.
Dog, you playing? Oh, that was UFC. That motherfucker. Look at him. I'ma chill.
It's gonna be this first one right here.
There you go.
I wonder if Charleston was talking shit to him. Yeah, come on.
Yo.
How you get manhandled by a 51-year-old man with less muscle on his body than you and one eye, dude?
Stupid.
Leave it up to the Island Boys, dude.
Yeah, dude. I'm under the impression they only join these kick fights and they're just losing back to back, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and then they fought each other. Like, these people do anything for content. You know, there's a limit to where I won't go. Like, you know, there's like, I got some morals.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, that's going to be the end of our show. We appreciate you guys watching. Glizzy's got his own show on the Vice City Mafia channel. You guys check it out. He does good things over there. We appreciate all the new fans, the new subs, the new likes, and the support. God bless you guys. Good night.